Some engineers may think machining plastics is much easier than machining metallics. Today we may prove you wrong. MIE Solutions have brought us to Carville and Dorking. We're going to look at their MRP software that has streamlined their manufacturing processes. Vince, thanks for the invitation to Carville. Now, I'm really interested to know a little bit about your company, but also I think what we need to try and get across is that is it easier to actually machine a plastic material than metallic? Because a lot of our viewers really look at metallics as being the hardest things to machine. But tell us a little bit about the over 90 years of machining plastics at Carville.
So basically at the heart of what we do is precision machining of plastics to pretty high tolerances. Our biggest industry is medical devices and life sciences, which has grown quite a bit over the last 10 to 15 years. The other quite unique thing we do is diffusion bonding of plastics, primarily of acrylic and ultem.
Could you tell me exactly what that is, but also you've got a part here to show us?
Yeah, well the key benefits of diffusion bonding as opposed to something like cross drilling is you can have multiple tracks and multiple layers in 3 dimensions, a bit like a PCB, but for fluids.
And if you didn't actually use the bonding process, there's no way that you could actually make parts like this?
No, you can't. This is a unique process for this kind of manifolds.
So also with the parts, the type of materials that you're actually cutting here, it's not necessarily just about the tolerances, but also about the actual heat.
Yes, we've got to be very careful on the speeds and feeds of machining the plastic because it's quite easy to burn it, and it's very obvious through transparent plastic. You can see the burn, so that's something we have to manage carefully.
Today we're here principally on behalf of MIE Solutions. Now you use MIE Trak Pro, but how do you use it and what was you using before?
Oh, before that we had a fairly robust system, but it wasn't a complete end-to-end system. So we had some bolted-on paperwork and other software to be able to have complete control and traceability. Whereas the MIE Trak Pro gives us full traceability in real time, right from beginning, from estimating and quoting, right through manufacturing to dispatch and invoicing.
And those guys have been very successful in the sheet metal sector. Does it actually work for your processes here?
It does. We had to adapt some areas of it, but it is very suited to our kind of SME size business.
And when you look at the processes that you're machining in plastics, now I see you've got some latest machines from Dugard here. Now, when you're actually machining, what's the most critical part? Is it speed?
It's really just trying to meet the tolerances. So some of the devices that we're making are highly tolerant, so we have to be very careful of these critical tolerances. So part of that process is doing a first off every time we do any significant machining. So we will measure the first off part to make sure we're actually corresponding to those tolerances.
Tom, you brought us to Carville and Dorking. Now, you guys are very, very busy with the sheet metal sector with MRP Solutions, but these guys are machining plastics. Does MIE Trak Pro actually work for these guys?
As you say, we are fairly renowned for working with companies that manufacture products out of metals, but the idea of coming to Carville today was to really showcase that regardless of whether you're manufacturing things out of a billet of metal or a sheet metal piece of material, the system can very well suit for pretty much any manufacturing process, and today is a very good example of actually manufacturing products out of blocks of plastic or again even sheets of plastics.
And what is the main benefit of MRP Solutions for companies that are manufacturing a product, let's say?
So it just brings everything together. I mean, the idea of our system as a whole is to manage everything from initial inquiry all the way through to eventually shipping and invoicing the customer for the parts at the end of the process, and then everything that falls in between that. I guess a good example from today is that with Carville, they operate in a wide range of sectors, but one sector that I do specialise in is the medical sector, and with the traceability that's required for that, MIE Trak definitely assists them in being able to track exactly what materials and what batches of material have been used on a particular batch of parts.
And any manufacturing companies that maybe don't have an MRP solution but are looking for any type of solution, what can you actually offer them? What is your USP?
So our USP is that we do supply our system as a complete package. So we don't supply it in individual modular format. So in essence, we supply all of the modules, but then it really is up to the customer as to how much or how little of it they then wish to utilise. We have customers that use 20% of the system. On the other hand, we have customers that use pretty much everything that the system has to offer. So it really is about making it work for them. Our other USP is that our system has been specifically designed for the manufacturing sector, which again, with the traceability constraints of a company like we're looking at today, is very, very important. And if anyone is interested in seeing the software, then we do free remote or on-site demonstrations for potential customers.
And looking into the future, we know a lot about metallics, but is there the future very, very bright in reference to machining plastics?
Oh, we see so, yeah, very much, and especially in the medical devices and the life sciences area, there's a lot of need for plastics.
And when you're looking at the tolerances, you're looking at the traceability, could you be as effective and cost effective, let's say, in reference to not using MIE Trak Pro?
Well, it does help us be more efficient, and it helps us to track progress and to optimize the process as well, because it gives a fairly powerful reporting tool.